Do you remember your first job? My first job was as a leadership coach, and this job had it all. A luxury office with high glass windows, a competitive salary with relocation reimbursement. And get this, there was a food truck, grocery store, and barbershop all within a few minutes of each other. Everything about this job checked out. My references spoke highly of my achievements, and I fit the job description to a T. Even though I checked all of the right boxes, I couldn't shake the feeling that they had hired the wrong person. I asked myself questions like, are you sure you're ready for this, Brittany? Do you really have what it takes to lead a team, Brittany? What will your team even think of you, Brittany? When it was time to meet my team, my confidence went from strong to shaky. My mind swirled with more questions like, why do I feel like this? I know I can do the job, but why do I feel like such a fraud? What's happening to me? Now, fast forward to today, as you can see, I did survive that moment. And I did go on to have a successful career as a speaker, coach, and trainer, where I've helped hundreds of people unlock the best within themselves. It was along my self-discovery journey that I learned that what I experienced back then was much deeper than self-doubt. In fact, according to the American Psychological Association and the Journal of Internal Medicine, 82% of adults describe feeling as though they haven't earned what they've achieved, even though on the outside, you're considered successful. I learned that this is called imposter syndrome. Today, I want to help you understand and see the ways in which imposter syndrome holds us back in our life so that you can break free from its limits and live the best life possible. So, let's go on ahead. So what is imposter syndrome? According to coaching platform BetterUp, imposter syndrome is described as the persistent and pervasive feeling like you're not qualified for the seat that you're in. It's these feelings that cause me to feel like a fraud, even though I knew I could do that job. Clinical genetics scholar Jasmine Bess describes imposter syndrome as a common universal struggle that can impact anyone, regardless of race, age, gender, or career profession. People from marginalized backgrounds, in particular, might experience imposter syndrome at higher levels due to racism, social stigmas, and microaggressions. Now that we've defined imposter syndrome, let's explore two common ways imposter syndrome shows up in our everyday lives. Number one, disqualifying the positive. Disqualifying the positive, as explained by the Psychology Corner, is when negative, irrational thoughts causes you to make small of your accomplishments and reject your own success. Meet my client, Tanisha, who entered coaching with one goal in mind: be promoted to high school principal. Tanisha worked all year long, took extra projects, and taught Saturday school to increase her chances of being promoted. And if there is any educator in the room, you know how precious those Saturdays really are. Much to Tanisha's surprise, Tanisha not only became a finalist for the principal role, she also won Teacher of the Year. When I called to congratulate Tanisha, our conversation sounded a little something like this. Hey, Tanisha, congratulations. How you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling all right. I mean, I don't really think it's that deep. You know what I think, Brittany? I think the school ran out of teachers to give the award to, and I must have won this award by mistake. You see, imposter syndrome made it hard for Tanisha to really own her success, even though she put in the work to get there. Where in your life has imposter syndrome made you feel smaller than who you really are? The second example is what I like to call the law of firsts. The law of firsts means that if you're the first to do something, it's much harder to be what you haven't seen. Meet my client, Nathan, who entered coaching with a goal to create a better work-life balance. Date nights with his wife took second place to board meetings, and quality time with his kids was non-existent. When I asked Nathan what was challenging about this change, Nathan was honest. He said, "You know what, Brittany? This is all I've ever seen. I'm the oldest of four, and I watched both of my parents work over 40 hours a week to provide for me and my siblings. Taking a break made a difference between having food on the table or money for our sports. I know I need to change, but I'm afraid if I try something and it all fails, everything I've worked hard for will come crumbling down around me." As you can hear, Nathan had the desire to change, but due to a complex family history, a fear of failure, and not seeing examples of what was possible, imposter syndrome limited Nathan's ability to see his possibilities as well. This caused Nathan to not try anything at all, a common symptom of imposter syndrome. I'm happy to share that over time, Nathan did challenge his imposter syndrome by taking action in direct opposition of what imposter syndrome said he could do. Nathan started setting better boundaries at work and delegated tasks to his team. I knew Nathan got it together because in our final call, I thought Nathan was dialed into a virtual background. Oh no. Nathan wanted to show off that he was on a beach in Florida, living his best life on a vacation with his family. The first he had taken in over 5 years. Imagine what would have happened if Nathan stayed still. Where in your life is imposter syndrome keeping you stuck? At this point, I'm sure you're thinking, this is great, but how can I stop imposter syndrome from holding me back in my life? Maybe you've tried everything, and imposter syndrome still shows up daily. If that is you today, I want to say that I understand. You're not alone. You're in the right place, and it is indeed hard. Here's the truth. Imposter syndrome will show up at some point, if not almost daily. Your job is to take custody of your beliefs and challenge imposter syndrome directly. How do you do that, you ask? I've got the answer, so listen closely. You need to clean your mirror. Clean your mirror. To clean your mirror from imposter syndrome means that you will break free of anything that's holding you back from seeing yourself fully for who you are and ultimately who you can become. Here's 3 ways that you can clean your mirror from imposter syndrome. Number 1, investigate your mirror. To investigate your mirror means that you've been on this journey called life for quite some time, and you've most likely picked up some mindsets and beliefs that haven't always been there. I actually want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself those tough questions like, where did I get this belief from? Is this belief even mine to own? And my personal favorite, what's a new belief that I'd like to try on? Number 2, create a winning window. Best-selling author and motivational speaker Dr. Mo Anderson suggests that by keeping an achievement list, it can help you build self-confidence and navigate imposter syndrome. When I think back to my first job, I kept a folder of pictures, positive feedback from clients, and performance reviews to remind myself that I was worthy for the seat that I was in. Anytime imposter syndrome would come knocking on my door, and many times it did, I'd sit in my winning window and remind myself that I was meant to be in that room. And if anyone had a question about it, I have the evidence to prove it. And you do too. The third and final way that you can clean your mirror from imposter syndrome is that you have got to be ready to break that mirror. Breaking the mirror means to take risks and actually go after what you really want in life. Several years ago, I broke my own mirror. I moved 1,000 miles away from when I knew to be home. I quit a comfortable corporate job, and I moved back home with my family after surviving abuse. My life changed for the better when I dared to believe that I was meant for more. I literally went to the ring with my imposter syndrome. And now, look at where I am today. I mean, really, can you all believe that I used to think that imposter syndrome used to tell me that I had nothing powerful to say? Y'all can clap for that one. But in all seriousness, look at what's possible when you challenge that voice. So I leave you with this to think about. If you allow the voices of imposter syndrome to hold you back in life, you're going to miss your own show. Breaking free from imposter syndrome is going to take everything you got. It's going to be uncomfortable at times, and it's going to be hard. But I promise you, when you get to the other side, when you get to the other side, you're going to be so glad that you did. Let me be the one to tell you that this is your sign to get from behind the walls of imposter syndrome and step fully into who you are and ultimately who you can become. The world is waiting for you to put that one foot in front of the other and get to stepping in your purpose. And I can't wait to see you there. Thank you.